Free to succeed. Raid Shadow Legends. Free to succeed season 2. Raid Shadow Legends. All right. We dicked around too long this morning. Edition. We got up on time, and then I've just been answering emails and DMs and doing other stuff, and now my coffee's kind of cold. It's not cold, but it's like, it's not, there's a perfect temperature, and we're a few degrees below the perfect temperature. And it's fine, and it'll be okay. But it is that way, all right? Bars? Didn't even mean to, and bars? Wow, it's gonna be a good week. All right. All right, here's the thing. We've got 13 Ancients, and there is a 2X Ancients going on, and that could be interesting. That has some potential to be interesting. But I don't know yet, so let's think about it. We are honestly cruising through Doom Tower. We have autoed. I can't remember if this is the rotation. I don't think this is the rotation we've cleared already, but perhaps it is. But so far we've autoed everything. We did have to mix this team up a little bit. We made some changes here. We put Syl in because Armiger dies, and then we are kind of fucked. And what'll happen is we'll end up in a situation. I think I end up in a situation where Gruckus and the boss are alive, and it just goes on to the term limit. The boss can't kill Gruckus. Gruckus can't kill the boss, obviously. So I brought Syl because I figure she can probably stay alive, even though she's the wrong affinity. And basically all she's doing here is reviving Armiger when he gets killed. And it took a while. It took them a while to do it, but they did do it. I just slide it over to the second monitor, and they take care of business. So that might be our Scarab team for a while, at least the Force one. So there's that. We're doing secret rooms as we're able. We're still trying to grind arena. We're not far off from being able to hit level 9 on that. So we're almost done. We're almost done. I don't reckon it'll be, I mean, then we have to get something level 10. So I mean, like, obviously we still have a good arena grind ahead of us, but it's happening. Very doable. A little bit of a time sink, but like, we'll get there, you know? We're also about to hit level 69. Nice. And what else? What else? What else? Other than that, it's been a lot of grinding. We've got enough to 6-star somebody when we feel compelled to. But again, we will probably... So next is going to need to be a magic champ. Magic, then Force, then Void. So we're probably looking at... Yeah, we were thinking about this in the last video even, I think. I don't know, man. I'm pretty interested in him. And then Clarence. We've been pretty interested in Clarence for a little bit, so... I mean, that dude is candled up. He just is, and he's not thrilled about it. You'd think he'd be a little bit happier about it. But that's perhaps the biggest frown in Raid Shadow Legends. He is a grumpy dude. Walks into a room and lights it up, and is just grumpy as shit. You don't see that every day. Oh God, it's so tempting, but I'm gonna have to pass. I hate it when there's not at least one give me an easy win in here when we refresh. Anyway, we did a little bit of live arena the other day, and it went weirdly well. Well, here's the thing though. There is a battle history because we did some. We did 10. You do the 5 and then you get the refill, and then we did the other 5. And I think we lost 3. But 2 of them were to the same person. One person was like level 93 and they had a level 93 account, you know what I mean? We just couldn't touch them. And then I queued up again and got them again immediately, so I just backed out. And then one other person I think beat me, maybe. But we won every other one. And I think we only had one person quit in the lobby. The rest of them were fights we actually won. I think there's probably a lot of bots and stuff. There was a couple of them that I feel like were obviously bots, but there were a couple of them that weren't. And it matched, for the most part, it seemed like the matchmaking was decent. Seemed like it was okay. So yeah, we messed around with that a little bit. And it was fine, it was interesting. What are we doing in here? How close are we to beating this boss? I'm not even gonna manual. I just want to see how close they are to doing it by themselves. Oh man. Get champs out of these waves that do this, please. Please. Dude, so I watched, there's a channel on YouTube called Soft White Underbelly, and I had not heard of it. My mom suggested an episode of it to me, and I watched the episode and it was fantastic. It was so good. And so I started checking out other stuff on the channel, and I've kind of been binging it the last few days. And what it is this guy interviews people on the channel, but it's kind of an interesting interview. It's pretty cinematic. It looks very professional. He does very little talking, the guy doing the interview, and he's not on camera. It's just the person he's interviewing, or sometimes the people he's interviewing on camera. And he asks, I almost think he even edits out his questions at times. It's mostly these people talking about their story, and it's all different kinds of people for all different kinds of reasons. I don't think we're too far off from being able to beat this, actually. And it's just really interesting, and it's a very, like, I mean, it's people that are addicted to different kinds of drugs. It's prostitutes. It's a bunch of things of that nature, and then it's like mob bosses, mafia hitmen, cartel members. One of them is there's a guy named James Sexton. He's just a divorce attorney, and he was probably my favorite episode. He's the one that my mom suggested I listen to, just because he's just one of those dudes that you could just listen to talk all day long. You know what I mean? So just people from all different walks of life, all different kinds of people, and it's fascinating because, again, it's a very, he doesn't engage with them in a way that's like judgmental. He just lets them tell their story, and it's really interesting. So there was one I watched yesterday. I say all of that to say there was one that I watched yesterday. It's a pimp and 2 of his prostitutes, and the dude's name is Kelpie, and he's a 19-year-old kid. And he goes on, and it's pretty cringy because he's a 19-year-old kid trying to act like he's a pimp, and it's a little bit cringy, right? You can tell he's an intelligent kid. He's cringy as hell, but he's an intelligent kid for the most part. Seems like it doesn't seem like he's an awful dude. He's a pimp, so there's something to be said for that. But well, he says he's a pimp. Anyway, it's kind of cringy, but it was still interesting. So then, cut to there's a podcast called No Jumper, apparently, that I've also never heard of, and there's a guy named Sharp, who also has an episode of Soft White Underbelly from years ago, and he's a pimp for real, and he's been a pimp for a long time, and he's a pimp for real, and he brings this kid on his podcast, and for about an hour, just so aggressively, I mean, he gets all over this kid about going on that podcast and lying about being a pimp. And it's tough to watch. Kid handles it really well. Surprisingly, I mean, he's 19, 20. I guess he's about 20 at this point. He handles it very well. He stays calm. He's respectful. He stands his ground at certain times with these two other guys yelling at him the whole time. I mean, he handled it really well, surprisingly well. But man, is it funny. It was real funny to watch. So then now I'm going back and watching this guy's, his name is Sharp. I'm watching all his Soft White Underbelly episodes. And from the podcast episode, I thought, man, I really don't think I care for this dude. He's entertaining for sure. I'm not sure how much I like him, but now I'm watching his old episodes out of that context, and I do like him a little bit. But one of the things he does is he's really loud, and sometimes when he's like really trying, he'll change his voice, and he'll really put a lot of bass in his voice and start talking like this. but he's being serious, and it made me laugh every single time he did it. If he was doing it as a joke, it would be funny, but the fact that he's serious, it's like his way of like getting more intimidating or something. It's real stupid, dude. It's real stupid. If you just YouTube like No Jumper Kelpie, I'm sure it pops up. And it's worth a watch, man. If you want a good laugh, it's worth it's worth a watch. It's a little aggravating because again, he's making, it's really aggressive. It's way over the top. He keeps threatening to beat him up, and it's a 19-year-old kid. Like, you know what I mean? And he's not disrespecting you, and he doesn't deserve for you to threaten him to beat him up constantly, but it's still funny. Anyway, just a little random story time. All right, so what do we want to do? I'm probably going to sit on these for a little bit. I'd kind of like to have a good session with these. Part of me wants to sit on these too, but like, I'm also really, really kind of getting sick of not having him or him. So I'm kind of like, hurry up. You know what I mean? So I think let's pop these ancients. Why not? Let's pop these ancients and see if anything happens today. At some point, we've got to pull a legendary without getting to pity, right? And no better time than a 2X. So no better time than a 2X, so they say. What we got here? Wuji. X when enemy weaken. Will target all enemies instead of one when counterattacking. Okay. AoE block buffs could be pretty handy. Perfect Veil and counterattack on a 3-turn and an attack lead. Huh. Okay, interesting, I reckon. Interesting. I don't know what I would do with her off the top of my head. Are you, Mickage food? Give me another epic that I need for her. Here we go. 3 epics in a row. Soul Drinker. All right. He's kind of interesting. Okay. All right. Holy shit, this is the 2X'iest 2X of all time. Free hitter with a freeze. Oh, hey, he was made for Fire Knight, clearly. Is he fusion food? And do I have him already? Both interesting questions. That's a lot of epics in a row. That's a 2X for real. Now we need to do is hit some gold to like really make a session out of it. Oh, used up all our luck, I reckon. Please just give me, it doesn't even have to be the epic that I need for the fusion. Just give me the rare. I'll do the work. Just give me the fucking rare, dude. Like, how have I never pulled him? All right, who all was new? Blood Painter was new, huh? Soul Drinker. Wooji. No, he was new. Why do I feel like he's part of her fusion? He's not. No, he's not. Yeah, you were though. Okay. Dude, like what is going on? How can I not pull this guy? I just want to see something real quick. There's one. I want to see how many rares I haven't pulled yet. 2, 3. 4, 5. 6. So there's what, roughly 7. I mean, of course he's the only orc I haven't pulled yet. Eight. 9. 10. Almost all the dwarves. Wow. All right, Candle Guard. So there's 10 rares, 10 non-void rares I haven't pulled. And he's one of them. You sons of bitches. All right, yeah, we probably will save these for a bit. All right, well, I think what we'll do is just continue to grind up arena, try to get through these missions, work on getting our arbiter. The silver's piling up nicely. I'm probably just going to continue to let the silver pile up nicely. Because one artifact enhancement and it's all going to be gone. So we're just going to try to get it piled up to an obnoxious degree. I'm going to make food in preparation for the upcoming missions where we have to 6-star someone. I am leaning pretty heavily towards 6-starring him just because I've got experience with pretty much the rest of these. And of the ones that I don't, he's the one I'm probably the most interested in 6-starring, so he's probably going to get a 6-star. So we're looking at Blizzard getting his Ascension, and then Clarence, and then maybe her, and then our Void one, probably him. So that's the roadmap as of now. We'll see if anything changes. We didn't pull anything today that made that change. So that's it. Get down here. Later, guys.